Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Paul from MetalTalk, and I'm here with the fabulous Revenant guys. How are you all, gentlemen?
Yeah,
Very
good.
good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very
very
good.
well, thank you.
Excellent. So I've got Robin, Carl, Sam, and Matt. You put Matt or Matthew?
I don't mind, whatever you want to go with. It's up to you.
We won't tell you what we call him.
The boisterous charms of being boys in a band.
Yeah.
It's all well and good Sam saying that, but he's the one that gets bullied in this
Yeah,
band.
it's so true. It's so true.
Well, that's the thing though. Being a vocalist, you're going to get some stick, aren't you?
There's no absolutely zero chance of having an ego or frontman issues in this band because I just aren't allowed to have one.
It's probably good, keeps you humble.
100%.
That's what we keep telling him.
Character
So you're,
building.
you're from roughly my old manor. I'm a Hampshire boy, born and bred, and you're all sort of Basingstoke and Newbury, aren't you? So
That's it, yeah.
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 down from that way.
Whereabouts in Hampshire are you from?
I was born in Aldershot, but lived halfway between Pompey and Southampton for my formative teenage years, and then moved
Nice.
up to Norfolk.
Okay.
But I don't know if our readers or listeners or viewers are going to really want to hear about my having to flee various places because the villagers with the flaming torches.
I know the feeling.
So just tell me about. Obviously, you guys have been together for 2 years now, haven't you?
Yeah, we started. Yeah, well, Matt and I had the idea to. Matt had the idea to put the band together sort of February 2023, and then we got Robert and Carl involved really quickly. But we made a conscious effort not to go out and gig until we had written some songs and we had a decent set together. So Did we record in May of 23?
Yeah, might have
Yeah.
done.
Sometime around
That
then, May, June
sounds about
time.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we anyway recorded what became the debut EP, What a Time to Be Alive, and we didn't do our first gig till September 2023, and the rest, as they say, is history. Here we are, rocking and rolling.
So it's been a fairly sort of you've been really regular, haven't you? Obviously with the EPs coming out. Obviously you had your first EP out, and that everything's been met with genuinely critical acclaim, hasn't it?
Gone well, yeah. From the beginning, it's gone well. Just we started out and just did a couple of songs, played our first gigs in a pub to 10 people. That went well, and just moved on incrementally from there. It's been awesome.
I
We,
think
we, we were quite surprised, weren't we, really? And then also, it's what makes it hard now is
Yeah,
actually a lot of people really like the music that we've written, and we're like, oh God, how do we keep writing good music? It's not easy. Um, but yeah, it was quite a nice surprise. We were like, oh, okay, cool. Let's actually, you know, go out and be a proper band then.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Was the EP a bit of a litmus test? If that went down well, and if the gigs went down well, you continue. But if everyone just ignored you, you'd knock it on the head.
I
Well, I
think
think we've probably stuck to our roots, right? Wouldn't you say, guys? I think when we write a
I
song, we
don't
just
know.
go, if the songs are good, it doesn't matter which part of the Venn diagram of rock that they sit in, And I think that's one thing we learned from that EP was let's not try and horseshoe everything into one kind of sound you know, and just write good songs, good rock songs, basically. I think that's done us well. I think, and I think the guys would probably agree with that. We write stuff from all over the spectrum, really.
Yeah, it's gone well. I mean, but I would do this even if nobody was listening. Do you know what I mean? It's something I have to do is just play music. So, but I'm very grateful that people are listening.
Mm.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Let's say with obviously, it's been an EP a year, hasn't it? Really, what you've actually produced so far. What was the thought behind that? Releasing EPs rather than maybe an EP and then build up to an album. Has it just been testing the water, or has it just been how the writing process has gone?
I think Well, Matt actually made a good point early on, and initially it was kind of a discussion of do we just do an album, or is the album, what people want right now? And if I think when you're, I mean, I think Carl will agree that quite early on, Carl was like, no, I think we should just release singles effectively, or short runs. And I think if you're an established band and you've got a good sort of fan base behind you and you're doing well, I think an album is something that you can legitimately look to do. But I think when we were starting, it was just okay. We've got these songs; they're really good. Let's record them. Let's get them out. And then same sort of process, really. I have to admit, I was very much like, no, we should get an album together to start with. So these guys have proved me wrong with that.
Well, there's probably isn't any wrong or right way, but I think especially when you're a small band like us and you're starting out, I think you need to build momentum. And I think if you have an album, it's all right if you're those damn crows and you get to number one and then you go and tour all around Europe and stuff like that and play with some massive acts because you've got a lot of longevity and you've got a big fan base anyway. So it doesn't matter if they take a year off now after all of this. But for us, if we were to put an album out and then go away for a year, everyone would just forget about us. So it's kind of, go and put out a few EPs and then I guess we'll look to maybe do an album. We don't know really. Will we do an album? Will we do some more EPs? It's difficult to say. I think you've just got to be consistently releasing
Yeah,
music. Either way, if we go and put out an album in 12 months' time, that's great. But then what are we doing 3, 4 months after that? We probably still need to have some more music up our sleeve. So and also I think these days, people just want music there and then. I think even if you look at those damn crows and they went to number one, there's probably still a lot of people sitting there going, okay, cool, what's next then? When's the next music coming out? When's because that's just the world that we live in now.
yeah,
Music's so
yeah,
accessible and music is almost it almost feels like music is free to people these days, even though it's not. People pay £10 a month for a Spotify subscription. A lot of people support you and buy a CD or a vinyl, and that's fantastic. But I think there's just a kind of an expectation upon the world now that music is essentially free. And once you drop one song, cool, when's the next one coming? When's the next one? When's the next one? It's just an oversaturated market. And I think Lars Ulrich was doing a good job trying to stop this whole Napster thing. And I think he was right when you go back to it and look at it all, because look at the music industry now.
yeah,
So, but for a small band like us, I think it's just consistency and momentum, and you just got to keep putting music out and keep people talking about you.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, social media is a massive, massive part of things these days, isn't it? Everyone's on TikTok, and I think maybe that plays into that, isn't it? It's that
Yeah,
accessibility. Some people say with TikTok, you've got to be doing, at least one a day. And it just for
yeah,
an artist to, to have that creativity, I think if you're focusing so much on that, you're missing, maybe the kinship you have, maybe that writing process, and that real, genuine hard work that you guys as a band have done to build up to where you are now. Because, it's that whole, the TikTok thing is that instant hit of something, people just want something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to be constantly working at it, which luckily we are. We're every week in, week out, we're doing something. So, hopefully
I
we keep up with it.
Yeah, I think as well, we are quite good in this band. So Matt is the social media guru basically, and knows kind of roughly what we need to do to keep up with the trends and things, and then, oh guys, you need to post this, and we need to do it at this time because it will meet this audience and stuff like that. And uh, but that goes across every member of the band's got their strengths. Carl's got a really good eye for kind of like video shots and all of that kind of stuff, and Robin's got a good a sound engineering background, and I'm left-handed, so make of that what you will. But ultimately, we've all got something that we can contribute, and we're also not afraid to go, look, this is burning me out right now. So can we look to share that, or maybe we take a break from that? Um, So yeah, I think I completely agree with everything you just said, but I think we're really good at spreading that load a little bit, and Matt's on top of all the trends, so we're good.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Matt's OnlyFans page has been quite successful, hasn't it?
It's too
Yeah.
expensive for me. I haven't seen it.
Makes me more
Why
money
pay
than the
for it when
band
you can
does.
see it?
I can't go on there. My passport's out of date.
I'll send you the photos anyway, Carl. It's all right. But on a serious note, though, it's I think if you look at the way that social media is part of a band these days, it's ludicrous. I think I probably spend most of my time, and I would say the other guys do as well. Us as a four, we will spend most of our time in this band organizing, preparing, you know, content, artwork, whatever it is, merch, you know, there's more time spent on the actual business than there is probably playing our instruments. Um, and I guess that's fine. You have to do that as a band. You have to know, you know, you have to know your business and know your product because essentially it's ours and we don't want anyone else to come in and, you know, take it away from us and ruin it or whatever. But you would just think that, you know, you would like to be spending a lot more time spending your instrument, playing your instruments than kind
Yeah,
of going, oh, right, well, we've got to post that tonight.
yeah,
Okay, has anyone sorted that order? Have you done that? Blah, 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 blah. You know, there's so much that goes into it. But I think certainly we're very much more of a, we'll document what we do and post out on social media, but we're not really going to try and really like absolutely hammer social media. I don't want to be stuck with a phone recording myself all the time. You know, we always say when we go to the rehearsal room, oh, let's get a quick vid of this tonight, even if it's just a thank you everyone that's bought the EP, you know, really appreciate it. All the pre-orders are coming, blah 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 blah. So again, it's not anything fake. It's just generally saying thanks, and you know, it's just serving social media for the sake of it. But we always forget, but because we get so in depth with the writing, and that's what we enjoy doing, that it gets to the end of the rehearsal and we go, oh, we didn't do that. We haven't got time now. And it's like, oh, well, you know, just it is what it is because we're so focused on actually,
That writing gets really intense sometimes, doesn't
yeah.
it? And
Yeah.
you
Because we
know, it's
always say that the number one thing is as long as we write good songs, hopefully, as long as you market yourself well enough, the rest should come. But that's our kind of stance on it, really.
I think it's a necessary evil these days, isn't it? But I think you've
Yeah.
got such a great sound, and Robin, how much of that do you contribute, with your skills to the actual sound, the overall sound?
So a lot of the sort of sound engineering stuff that I try and incorporate is stuff like Sam's a big fan of his gadgets and gizmos, and
Yeah.
before they got the quad cortexes, is just a mountain of pedals. And I like to sort of look at it almost with like a producer's hat on of just, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Realistically, who in a pub with 40 people around them actually wants to hear all of that noise? And like that's a lot to be pushing through small PAs. And it's like maybe we can thin that out a little bit, or that effect might be taking up too many frequencies that Carl's drums and toms might be trying to fill in, or like my bass might be taken up or something. And just a lot of yeah, that sounds really good. We've done that in these three other songs on the last release. So how about we just try and spin it up a little bit and keep keep everything fresh and balanced.
Yeah.
good quality control.
Robin
Yeah.
is, Robin is good at that. Like we'll write something, we go, oh, this is great. Like listen to this, and they go, yeah, but we've done
We've
that,
done it
haven't we?
already.
With that, and you go, oh, for God's sake. Okay, fine. But that's good. You need that. You know, it's
Yeah.
like the mother of the band saying, no, let's not do that.
So your sound to me, listening to the new EP, Black Dogs and Sad Men, there's elements of the great hard rock of the 70s and the 80s, but it's given a real sort of a modern edge, without being too overly fussy about things or clinical. There's a real warmth in what you guys do. And
Yeah.
was was that a sort of a real sort of conscious thing, or was it just the way that you guys write
I think it was
and
just
work
natural.
together?
I think it was just natural. Yeah, that's just the way we worked. There is that blend of, we like the 70s. We do like that kind of music, but I also listen to a lot of electronic music, so I like that the sort of clinical, click side of it and all of that. So um yeah, I think it is a
To,
good blend, but I think it came together quite naturally.
yeah, and I think what's what's nice. Well, two things that stick out for me about this EP is we weren't when we did Best Medicine, we said, right, that was really good for what it is. Best Medicine, for example, is a cracking classic rock song. But how can we make these songs different? And things like the breakdown in the middle of the title track, Black Dogs and Sad Men. We hadn't done anything like that before. Um, and I came up with that, and I could already hear Matt like playing over the top. But what is hilarious about that is when we went into the studio, Matt Matt had nothing. Matt had no inclination of what to solo over the top. Ma Made it up in the studio and then went, I better go back and learn that now. So it sounds the same live. But I love that because you get that sort of spontaneity. But yeah, we really kind of made a conscious effort, I think, to try and do things that we hadn't done before, but also both EPs as kind of top and tailed with an acousticy piece as well. But yeah, it's just a natural progression to what we did before, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the three EPs, there is definitely a progression within your work, isn't it? And this new EP, as far as thematically, it's a very personal sort of set of lyrics and the heart behind it. Why did you choose to go down that route and say something real rather than the normal, tales of rock and roll debauchery?
So
Because it's the
I've
truth, isn't it?
yeah, and I think I've always been. So I took a break from music in 2018. I had a mental breakdown, and I just ever since that point, I'm quite I'm quite vocal about how I feel and mental health and stuff like that. And so to write those songs was kind of cathartic in a way, I think. But yeah, so for me, it was just about it keeps to our themes, which is we only write about what we know. We write about things that, as Matt just said, are real. And I mean, Sex, for example, was written. I literally where I live in Basingstoke, people watching on a Saturday night and just seeing what goes on, which is hilarious when I think about it.
What swingers club was that then, Sam? That
Yeah,
you
Can't say.
when you
yeah. Having been to Basingstoke, yeah, I can understand.
yeah. But no, I think also when you say about the themes that are running through there, I had an interview the other day and they were talking about that and they said that mental health seems to come up a lot um in the themes of these songs. And I think one thing that we've always wanted to do was just write about, I guess, either our own lives or someone else that we know and turn it into a song and a message that we're trying to say to them. I think if you look at the world these days, I think the world's a pretty scary, fragile place. I think a lot of people don't really know what's going on in their own heads, and it's quite tough for a lot of people. And I think we kind of we're never going to write about the whole rock and roll debauchery thing. I mean, I'm 37 with two kids and I'm getting married next year. What rock and roll debauchery happens in my life? Do you know what I mean? There isn't anything that really happens, to burst a bubble. We're not rock and roll guys. We're just musicians and we want to write songs. But we have friends that, have struggled with addiction. So if you listen to songs like I'll Be There, that's what that's about. We've got people in the band that have had mental health issues. That's what Black Dogs and Sad Men's about. Lie or Living is about fake people that we've come across and we've dealt with. Few musicians, that we won't name, but we're just very much like, okay, let's write about them. And then when you look at things like All We Need, that's about time running out, and actually, time's such your most precious asset, and it's running out, and people don't realize it sometimes. So it's just very real and very honest, really. And I think that's what we're always going to be writing about. There are the odd times where we write something random because you go, oh, let's write about something like that. But it's just made up, and it's not your typical cliche, oh, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because that's just not us,
Yeah.
basically.
No, I think it's good, because I think there are enough Steel Panthers in the world
Yeah.
and Motley Crues and everything. Bless them for what they do. They're good at what they do. But I think people want a bit of reality. People want, with the social media, I think people want to have something that they can relate to. And I think in writing a song, something from purely your own viewpoint, your experience, I think you're going to put that out there, and it's going to touch people. It's going to, set just really sort of, things that people resonate with,
Mm. That's
Yeah,
what
because they've
definitely.
been
we
through
play the
there
music
themselves.
again. If the song's got good music and it's got a strong message, it'll make people play it again. That's the psychological element of it, isn't it? And that's what it's about. We want to write songs that make people go, "Oh, that's great." We've had people come up to us about all sorts of different songs, out of the blue that go, "Oh, thanks for writing that. That really kind of helped me and like made me really think about this, and I really like that song." And we're like, "Oh God, okay, great." I mean, that's what we're doing it for.
There is that sense, isn't there, that but music, I feel very much is a community. And I think if you're hearing something that resonates with you, if you actually can link in with that, if you can just feel, that song has been part of your experience in life, you feel you're not alone. And that sort of really helps again, bring that sort of sense of community together, that we're all sharing this thing through the music.
I think that's a really good point as well in terms of uh, we try and write the songs, although they might be, you know, based from our own experiences. We try and make the songs, um, uh, how do I put it? We try and make the songs so that people,
Universal.
yeah, thank you, Carl. Yeah, so that people can interpret them in their own way, and they can, we might have written a song about helping a friend with addiction, but the way that that's written is it's not specific, and people will have their own interpretation of that, which it's it still blows my mind to this day when we go out and gig and people are singing those songs back to us because it means something to them. I think Dave Grohl said something, didn't he? Which is like, it's mad when you play in front of 85,000 people and 85,000 people are singing your song back for 85,000 different reasons. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So obviously you've brought the new EP out, or the new PE is coming out any second. We've got a whole bunch of dates you've already done with mutual friends of ours like Brave Rival and Black Eyed Sons and everything.
Yeah.
There's various bits and pieces coming up. So what is the future for Revenant looking like at the moment?
It's
Well,
pretty.
it's pretty busy, I think, coming up in October. That looks, I haven't got all the dates in front of me, but it looks busy. First,
Yeah,
Carl's
every
always
weekend we're out.
it's great that Carl answers
Plenty of
that
gigs
because
going on.
it's usually Carl and
Uh,
Robin that are like,
don't know about
what?
the future after that.
Yeah, like, we've got a gig next Friday and then one on the Saturday as well. What? Yeah, 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 yeah. That's all on the track. I was like, oh right, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's like we've not had one scenario yet where someone goes, oh, I really can't do it. Like Carl's always like, yeah, fine, whatever, I'll do it. Robin's
I,
just like, cool. Are
I'm
you going to
packed,
pick me
ready to
up?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
remember to try and keep Matt's wedding day,
yeah,
blocked off.
I think we're playing that, with Matt.
yeah. Well, yeah. We will be. Yeah, not us though. We won't be Revenant. I don't want to be like, oh, it's my wedding day. Look at my band, everyone. Because I'm telling you now, most people just go, all
Yeah,
right, whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, I think we're going to do a load of covers. So that's probably the biggest gig of the year that we're going to play next year. Um,
yeah. You can have
but
the
no,
merch
we've
desk set
got,
up next to the table with all the presents on it.
yeah,
yeah,
Amen.
yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah. No,
We'll get a bunch of Revenant
we,
ties put up.
Yeah.
we're starting to mix a few things. So we've got some really good support slots coming up with Black Eyed Sons. We're playing in Southampton again with Chris Payne at the start of October. We've got Steel Pause Festival in Sheffield on October the 11th. We've got our own headline slot at the Gifford Arms in Wolverhampton on October the 10th. And that's something that we're starting to do now, is we're starting to kind of leave our comfort zone and go and branch out to places and not sell very many tickets. So that makes you go, okay, right, that's kind of pushing to the next level. I think it's difficult for everyone these days anyway, with ticket prices and events and stuff like that. But that's something new that we're starting to do now. So there's a few patches around the country that we're starting to go out and play to small amounts of people, but we're going to build it over time. And then November's pretty much the same. And then, yeah, we've got like a headline gig for our hometown Newbury in December to kind of finish before Christmas. And then we've got the Preacher Stone tour next year, which is going to be great in January and February. So I think we're kind of hoping that next year we can kind of go Preacher Stone tour, maybe another small tour before the festival slots all start coming in, which a few are now. And then at the end of the year, do another tour. I think we probably would quite like to do it that way now if we can. And just kind of have blocks of time where we go, right, we're going to do a load of gigs there, there, and there, rather than kind of it being 3 or 4 weekends out of the month, and because you need to put your time in. But I guess ideally, if we can do that so we don't burn out, really, that's the thing. We've all got day jobs and lives and stuff like that, and then we've got to try and write some new music at the same time. So
Get another EP out next year.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the good thing is, playing the festivals is you are hitting a lot of people who would not maybe ordinarily maybe have heard of you, or they're a new audience, they're new fans, and it gives you that ability to play to people from literally all over the place who've come to that one place, and they'll go off to their hometowns, and when you come near, they'll come to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we played quite recently up north, and someone came up to me afterwards and was like, "Oh, great set, by the way. You guys were really good. I saw you at Made of Stone Festival. I came down and saw you guys there. I'd never listened to you guys before. I was like, oh yeah, great. The system works. We like that. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Yeah.
Same as in Reading, wasn't it? We played Reading about a week after.
Yeah.
And some guy walked in a Revenant t-shirt, and we all looked at each other and went, "Who's that?" I don't know who that is. And then he walked up to us and he was like, "Oh, all right, guys, I saw you Made of Stone." We were like, "Oh, amazing, great, thanks. He's come and watch us." It's not just our friends and family that are kind of like coming out. It's like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's just starting to spread. It's just we got to keep putting the work in and putting the effort in, and we've been lucky, so we've just got to keep pushing now.
Yeah. Well, it's a really, really great EP. I've loved all the stuff you've done so far, but I think this new EP, you set a really high watermark for yourselves. Really great benchmark for future things, and and the name is spreading and continuing. And I genuinely, I'm excited to see what you guys do next, and I'll certainly try and get along to one or two of the tour dates.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it'd be good to see you.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Well, again, a joy, and I shall see you all on the road soon. But I would really, again, genuinely encourage people to go out, buy the EP, listen to something that's really rocks, but has also got real heart and a message in each song, which obviously, as I said, everyone can take as they wish to interpret each song. But it's great music, and it's a great message and a great band.
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, you are stars. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers.